This weekend we got a remake, or I guess not even really remake, because it's based on a stage play that's based on movies. I guess adaptation is a better word. I guess another adaptation of West Side Story, this time directed by Steven Spielberg. Now, as a point of reference, I never really got into the original. I found the original movie very boring, and I think that's because the original movie is the same director as Star Trek: The Motion Picture, which is incredibly infamous for being very poorly paced. It's incredibly infamous for being slow, which is a huge problem with the original West Side Story film. So that's why I never really got into the original. And honestly, had Spielberg's name not been on this movie, I probably would have written it off and just maybe waited to rent it. But because Spielberg's name was on, I was like, okay, Spielberg, obviously, he's arguably the greatest director of the past 2 centuries, maybe even of all time. I'm excited to see what he does with this. And this new version is pretty good. Not fantastic. This isn't one of my favorite movies of the year or anything, but I enjoyed it. I was entertained. First off, the 2 leads, Ansel Elgort and Rachel Zigler, are fantastic together. Ansel Elgort, he was in Divergent, Fault in Our Stars, so he's been acting for a while, and he's great in this. And I was really surprised by what a fantastic singer he is. And Rachel Zigler, who plays Maria, this is actually her first role. And you would never know it. I checked IMDb to see, what else has she been in? It's like, this is like her first big movie, ever. And you would never know it. She is a natural, which Spielberg's really great at that. He's great at taking first-time actors, first-time actresses, especially younger ones who have never done anything like this before, at least not on this scale, and make them come off as natural. He's always been really great at doing that. And the choreography in this is also very well staged. I only have a couple of issues with this film, and they're honestly almost nitpicks of a sort. My main issue is the runtime. The film is almost 3 hours, and I feel a lot of that is due to a few of the dance numbers running just a little too long. And with the stage play, obviously, stage play, those tickets can get incredibly expensive. They can go for like $100 at the very least. So they have to make the plays 3 hours, 4 hours in order to give you, the audience, the money's worth. But a film does not need to do that. As great as the choreography is, there were a couple of points where I just kind of wanted the story to move along. Okay, this dance number has been going on for a little too long for my taste. I want to see what happens next, just move this along. My other issue, and maybe this was just me, my other issue with it was that at certain points, maybe because of the way it was shot, certain points where sometimes it just didn't look like a real city. Sometimes to me it looked like a stage, like it was a play. Like it kind of looked like it had a backdrop. I could maybe see a couple of the stage lights. I don't know if that was the choice or anything, but to me sometimes I was like, okay, this is kind of pulling me out of it a little bit. This is clearly a sound stage, not a real city. Most of the movie, it looks like they're in a real city. There's a couple of points where it's very clearly a stage. And maybe that's just the way it looked to me. I don't know. I don't even know if that really counts. But yeah, apart from those nitpicks, Spielberg and his actors and actresses in this movie, they really knocked it out of the park on this one. So I would give this new version of West Side Story a B, an 8 out of 10, and a 4 out of 5 stars.